Once we know how to create basic procedural programs, it's time to learn about data structures. Data structures are different ways of organizing data for our programs to use. Procedural programming covers coding around basic things like letters and numbers, but with data structures we can start to code more complex behaviors. We'll start with something called strings. String is short for string of characters, where characters are things like letters, numbers, and punctuation marks. Strings are basically the programmatic term for text. Text is one of the main ways people communicate with programs, so a lot of what we do will be text-based. Text is also the foundation for files. Files are how we store information between runs of our programs. Imagine you implement a word processor, for example. The user creates some document and then saves it to a file. Then later, they open that file. File input and output radically improves the usefulness of the programs we can create, and it builds on our new understanding of manipulating text. Just as strings are lists of characters in order, so also we can make lists of any other kind of data in our programs. We might store a list of files to modify, or a list of students for a gradebook, or a list of bookmarks for a web browser. Lists are so useful that there are several different ways of implementing and using lists and list-like structures that we'll cover. When we deal with lists, we're usually dealing with information in some kind of ordered format. There's a first item, a second item, and so on. We can look up those items by searching by their number. Sometimes, though, we don't care about order so much as we care about being able to easily look up data. For this, we'll talk about data structures called hash tables or dictionaries. Using dictionaries, you can do things like look up a person's profile just by using their name. These are some of the data structures most languages will give us to use automatically. However, the real power of data structures really arises when we start to create our own.